Hi everyone, and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Elizabeth and I run the blog lifefromtheviolasection.com, where I share my favorite practice tips, general advice, and tech for musicians. Today I have another tech video for you. I know it's been a while, so I'm excited to have this new one. We're going to be talking about how to choose the right tablet for you to read sheet music off of. So I know that there are a bunch of different options out there. Sometimes it doesn't feel like it because I know a lot of us always talk about our iPads because the iPad is really good for reading sheet music, but I know that not everyone wants an Apple device. They don't want to be part of the Apple ecosystem, or there are a lot of reasons why you might not like it. The file management, the ecosystem, so many different things. And there are lots of different options out there. There are a lot of different good options. Today, I'm not so much going to talk about the different options that are out there, but more how to choose what is right for you based on different factors and different specs. So the first thing you need to consider is the display or the display size. So if you're getting a tablet to read music off of, it's basically becoming a replacement for paper. So think about how big a piece of paper is, and then think about a lot of the tablets that you've seen. A lot of tablets out there are not as large as pieces of paper, and that can be really difficult when you're trying to read off of a music stand and it's further away than you'd usually read a book from. You might be reading a book like this, can easily read something like this, but out here, that can be a totally different story. So you want to be sure to find a tablet with a screen size that is large enough for you to read off of, however far away you keep your music stand. I know it's different for everybody. Some of us will put our tablet in landscape mode, and then you can read music larger, but you'll have to do like half page sizes because obviously it's like this. So that's something to consider if you don't have the budget for a larger screen tablet. A lot of times these larger screen tablets are like pro models and they're more expensive and they have a lot of like crazy battery and chip features that we might not need as musicians, just basically reading PDFs. But if you don't have the budget for a big screen, turning it sideways and using it in landscape mode can be an option, kind of a workaround for it. Either way, there are a lot of tablets, starting with the iPad Pro, that are 12 inches or bigger. So the iPad Pro has two different display sizes, 11 inches and 12.9 inches. I use the 12.9 inch version, and it's very comparable to the size of a piece of paper, maybe just a little bit smaller, and the aspect ratio is a little bit different, a little more square than a piece of paper is. But it works really well. I can read it far away from a music stand. There's also the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 Ultra, lots of words there, which is basically, I think, the largest tablet I've ever seen, and that screen size is 14.6 inches. So very large, even bigger than the iPad Pro. So there are definitely different screen sizes and different models to be aware of. Also, in regards to the display, you want to make sure that it's a good resolution. If you're gonna watch videos or movies, or even edit videos on this, you want to have a high resolution screen that's capable of whatever you need it to do. Next consideration is the operating system and what apps are available for that operating system. So for tablets, we basically have Apple, iOS, iPadOS, basically, Windows, and Android. Those are generally your three options when it comes to a tablet. So is there one that you like the best? Is there one operating system that you want to be on? Is there one that you're on already and you want your tablet to match? These are all big considerations because it really plays into the way that your tablet is going to operate daily. If you're on your iPhone every day and you have a Mac, you're going to feel very comfortable using an iPad because it's so similar to both of them. If you use a Windows computer and you love the file organization, then a Windows product will probably be pretty good. If you use an Android phone and you've had an Android tablet before, that might be the way to go for you. So there are also different apps that are available for each operating system. Forscore is a sheet music reading app. I've done many videos on it. They will be up in the eye, but it is only available for iOS. This is kind of like the standard for sheet music reading apps. It's the one that many musicians who use tablets use, but it's only available for iOS. You can access it on your iPad, iPhone, and Mac. So it can be cloud-based. I don't use it that way. I just use it on my iPad, but it's only available for them. So if you don't go with an iPad, your options are mobile sheets and a couple others. I will put more details in my blog post. The blog post will be linked in the description box below. For basically every video I make, I do also make a blog post, which almost always goes more in depth than the video does. So be sure to check that out if you want some recommendations and some more in-depth spec information. Another big thing we need to consider is the battery. So if you're a busy student and you're on campus all day and you don't have time to charge a tablet, then you want something with a long battery life. If you're doing a lot of performances and or if you're doing outdoor gigs and you need your screen really bright, how long is the tablet going to last in those conditions? These are really, really important considerations to make because you don't want it to die mid-performance. You don't want to have to charge it in the middle of a practice day. Personally, what I didn't use a tablet back in college, but I had a laptop that I used for all my classes and I had my phone with me all day. So I would usually carry around a charger for both just because I'm paranoid but thorough like that. So the nice thing now is that a lot of tablets and computers and phones are all charged by USB-C. So if you happen to be a lucky person that has all three devices that use the same charging port, that can be really handy because you can just carry one charger and you're good to go for anything that you have on with you. But it's also another thing to carry in your bag, another thing to lug around, another consideration to make. So it's really good to find a tablet with a long enough battery life for exactly what you're looking for. And again, I have battery life specs in the blog post, so be sure to check that out. If there's one specific tablet that you're interested in, it might be up there with the battery life. Next consideration to make is portability. Will you be able to carry this around campus or to performances? Will it fit in whatever bag or backpack you might use? Would it fit in your instrument case? Would it fit however you carry your stand? These are good considerations to make because often the tablets that we use for reading sheet music are very large, so it can be difficult to fit these into your regular routine and lifestyle. Also consider how heavy it's going to be. A lot of tablets now boast themselves on being light. My iPad is a little heavy, but that's because I have a keyboard case on it and that definitely bulks it up. If I was just going to do a performance, I would either take the keyboard portion off of the case or I would just change the case completely, and that would lessen the load a little bit. But still, if you're going to carry this around with you all day, very often, consider how heavy or light it's going to be. Depending on how many scores you carry around per day, it can either be heavier or lighter than what you're used to carrying around. So definitely just something to think about before you buy one. If you're using a tablet for sheet music, you definitely want to be able to write on and annotate your sheet music. So the stylus options and annotation modes are really, really important on a tablet that you buy for sheet music. Different tablets will come with different stylus options and different kind of modes of annotation, different features. So the iPad comes with the Apple Pencil. I have it. If you didn't already know, I do use an iPad and I'm a bit biased towards Apple, but that's why I'm trying not to mention different options too much today. Just letting you know what you should think about before you buy something. But anyway, I use the Apple Pencil. I do have a silicone cover on it, but it feels very normal and natural in my hand, and I adapted to writing on the screen very quickly. So each brand of tablet has their own kind of different version of this stylus or pen, and some feel more pencil-like, some feel more pen-like. Others feel like writing, others feel like just a mechanical stylus. So it's really helpful with any of these tablet options. If you have anything specific in mind, try to find them in a store, see where they're displayed, and actually try these things out and feel them, because you never really know until you actually use it and see exactly how it works. A lot of these styluses, styli, pen options have different settings that you can change. You can change the pressure sensitivity. I know on the iPad, different apps will have support for left-handers because I am left-handed. So you can change, like, I know in GoodNotes, which is, I think, now available on Android and Windows or just Windows, but it used to be iOS only. Now they've opened up the doors. Anyway, I know in GoodNotes you can choose how you actually hold the pen, and then it can tell like what part of your palm is touching the screen so that the palm rejection works the best. So that's really nice. A lot of these, it's 2023, a lot of these have great settings that you can change and really control the writing experience on the tablet. Also, within different music notation, sheet music reading apps, you can change like the annotation. There are a lot of different annotation settings and just ways that these work. So it's helpful to find a sheet music reading app that kind of meshes with you and your annotation system. A lot of times you can create your own kind of pens, pen colors, like the width of the lines that you draw, and kind of different stamps and things. There are a lot of customization options within the sheet music reading apps. So just be aware of that. Try out the stylus if you can. Just know that each brand of tablet has their own kind of version of this. Next consideration to make is how much storage or even cloud space is available on this tablet and how much does that cost. So I believe that my iPad is 256 gigabytes and I have a 128 gigabyte phone. That has worked for me. I've had my iPad since fall 2020, so 3 years now I've had this iPad, and I think I've used like 2/3 of the storage on it. I almost never go through and delete things on my iPad, only if it's like super unnecessary and I just needed it for one thing, then I'll go back and delete it if I remember. But there are a lot of extra things on my iPad that I've downloaded that I really don't need, and so far it hasn't been a problem for me, so that's been great. But, think about how much storage do you have on your phone, how much storage do you have on your computer. Kind of use those to think about what you might need for a tablet. I find that sheet music PDFs don't usually take up all that much space. The things that do take up space are pictures, videos especially, and music, audio recordings. So keep in mind what you're going to be storing on this tablet and how much space that might take up and how often you kind of want to go through and purge things off of the tablet. See what's important to you, and is it worth paying more to upgrade however many gigabytes of storage you're going to have. A lot of these tablets also have good cloud storage options. Usually you have to pay for cloud storage, but if you're already using a cloud-based system, then the tablet can be a good extension of that. Just be aware if you're storing lots of sheet music on a cloud, if you're going to be performing somewhere without Wi-Fi or internet, make sure that you've got it downloaded. Another aspect that we need to think about is just the audio capabilities. How good are the speakers? How good is the sound system? What headphones or earbuds can you pair with this thing? Does it have a headphone jack? Do you generally use wired headphones? All things to think about, especially if you're making a lot of recordings on this tablet or if you're even editing videos or editing recordings on here. As musicians, we all work with sound, so make sure that that is up to the quality that you want. Each tablet has different kind of speakers. I enjoy my iPad speakers. I read that the Samsung Galaxy Tab S9 has Dolby surround speakers, either surround or Atmos. But I mean, that sounds like it would be good, but I did see in someone's Reddit post that they didn't really like the speakers. So, everyone has different tastes for speakers. You can always mess with the EQ to find something that you like better, but you don't want those kind of speakers where you can hear like the plastic shaking inside the tablet, unless you're not really ever listening to anything in the tablet. Just things to consider about how you're going to use it. Another thing to think about is just the connectivity. Does it use Wi-Fi? Is it cellular compatible? Is that something that you even need? It should obviously work with Bluetooth because it's 2023, but Bluetooth, what ports does it have on it? USB-C? Does it have like an SD card slot? I mean, that would be pretty cool, but does it have a headphone jack? All those different things. Do you plan to use anything with this, like a Bluetooth pedal? That's fine, because really all tablets in 2023 should have Bluetooth capabilities. I mean, we've had that for like 20 years now, so whatever. Anyway, do you want to use wired headphones with this? Do you want to plug in SD cards? Do you need to buy some kind of adapter or dongle or whatever to help you use those things? You want to be sure that you can use all of the accessories that you want with this tablet, especially if you're reading it for sheet music. You're probably going to want a Bluetooth pedal to turn the pages. Just make sure that all these things are going to work with the tablet, or if there are any workarounds that you're going to need to plan for. Next, you do have to keep your budget in mind. A lot of these tablets cost around $1,000, which is a big price tag, and it's definitely an investment. So what features do you need? What features can you live without? And what do these features basically cost you? So a lot of the price does kind of correlate with the screen size. So like I said earlier, a lot of tablets with a big screen size are kind of those pro models with lots of extra features, with really, really intense chips and software and hardware built in. And a lot of us don't need that, but a lot of us do want that big screen. So it can be a trade-off, like getting a model with not quite as much storage as you want, but because that's all that you can afford for the big screen size. So think about what is a need, what you really want, and what you can live without, and then kind of look at all of your pricing options and see what might be the best mix. I do shout out kind of a couple of the different tablet options, Apple, Samsung, and Microsoft on the blog post, and I do have prices and links to buy them, or at least look at them on my blog. So if you want some recommendations, or at least like a starting place, a couple tablets to look into at the start, those are on the blog. Be sure to check that out. Of course, look into reviews. Before I bought an iPad, I was watching iPad review videos and setting them up videos for months, just going back and forth about whether I should actually buy this, if it was worth like $1,000. And I did come to the conclusion that it was worth it, and I bought it, and I love it, and I'm so glad that I did. I use it every single day when I teach. I play a lot of my music off of it because it's right there. I just have to tap a couple times and I've got this open, instead of going all the way over to my cabinet, finding the book, and then, all of that. It saves some time. It's nice. But be sure to look into reviews, see what it's like out there kind of in the wild when people are using it every day. There are always things that you might not expect, or that people find work really well, or don't really work, and you might not have ever expected that. So it's important to see how it works in everyday life and what other people are thinking. Of course, you have your own opinions, but it's good to see real life use cases, and not just the website saying the battery lasts up to 15 hours and it charges in 10 minutes. Does it actually do that in real life? Will it actually do that in your house? Are you watching videos all the time? It's not going to last 15 hours if you're watching videos all the time. Just, it's so helpful to see what it looks like in a person's hands, to get a true idea of the size of it if you're not able to see it in real life, and, just the little quirks that each device has. It's really important to be aware of what those things are, so that you're not in for too many surprises when you get it out of the box. It's especially helpful to find videos of musicians using this and find out what apps that they like to use on it. That's basically why I started making Tech for Musicians videos, because when I was going and looking up iPad videos, I really wanted to see it through the lens of a musician and see how I would be using it, and is it actually worth it for musicians? And I couldn't find too many of those videos. There are so many more now in 2023 than there were in 2020. But it's so helpful to find something like that. And I wish I could show you guys more tablets, but I don't have the budget for that. If you guys want to send me some, that would be cool. But unfortunately, I can only show you my iPad Pro 2020 12.9-inch display. That's all I can really show. My fiance does have a Microsoft Surface Book. I think it's 3. But of course, that's a little bit old now too. We bought them both in 2020. So I can't show you everything, but the internet is a huge place, and you can find almost whatever you want. And like I mentioned earlier, try to find a store that displays this tablet so that you can try it out. You can see the size for real. Even, if you want to, you can bring some sheet music and compare the size, see what it would actually be like. You could even try taking a picture of the sheet music if you're able to with the display. It's hard when they're locked in there. You can always try to take a picture or a scan of the music and see how large it actually is on the screen. Try out the pen situation, and just get a taste of what it's actually like. It can really, really help, because a brand can make those fancy presentations of all the crazy things that this tablet can do, but it's never the same as trying it out for yourself. So definitely try to get out there and see, because it is a big investment, and you want to be sure that you like it when you get it out of the box. So I think that's a pretty exhaustive list of all of the considerations to make if you're looking to buy a tablet to read sheet music off of. If there's something that you hadn't considered, or if there's something that you're thinking about, please feel free to comment it down below. It'll definitely help some people out who are maybe on the fence, and it also helps me out for future videos and content too. If you want some more in-depth specs and more in-depth thoughts, longer content, then be sure to check out the blog post in the description box. My website is lifefromtheviolasection.com. I post a lot of different stuff over there. Thank you for watching today's video. If you liked it, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to my channel. I post new videos mostly every other Sunday at noon Eastern Time. Thanks for watching.